one of our buildings, one of our architecture buildings. This is called Fallingwater. It's by the architect Frank Lloyd Wright, done in 1936 to 1939. And the material is reinforced concrete, sandstone, steel, and glass. And the location of this is in Bear Run, Pennsylvania. Okay. So Frank Lloyd Wright is certainly America's most famous architect, as well as being perhaps its most innovative and influential one. He worked for previously another architect that we've studied, Louis Sullivan, early in his career, and he fully absorbed Sullivan's insistence on modern architecture that does not make reference to architecture styles of the past. And if you remember, Louis Sullivan, he did the Carson Peary Scott building in Chicago, and he was all about form follows function and not following the past as well. So we're on this movement, this modern movement. So Wright establishes a firm in 1893, and by 1900 he was becoming well known for his individual family homes in Oak Park suburb of Chicago. These were called prairie style, and not so much prevalent in this particular house that we're seeing, but some features that we would see right off the bat for prairie style is low horizontal houses with flat roofs. This is definitely showing that as well. And then heavy overhangs that echo the flat plains of the prairie in the Midwest. So this again kind of shows that um, we're not totally in the Midwest, we're more up north, but kind of those same concepts we're going to start to see be emphasized with this particular piece, and we'll talk about some of those shortly. So just continuing on with just a little bit of context. So Frank Lloyd Wright, this is important to write down because this applies directly to this house right now. Was commissioned by Edgar Kaufman. It's a Pittsburgh department store owner to replace a family cottage on the site of a waterfall and pool where children played. So this was for the Kaufman family. So Kaufman's surprise, Frank Lloyd Wright decided to build the new house right into the cliff and over the pool, allowing the waterfall to flow around and under the house. So literally, when I say this is on top of the waterfall, it is. A large boulder where the family had sunbathed in the summers was used for the central hearth stone of the fireplace. So there's long bands of windows, glass doors. You can kind of see that on the exterior right now. Over spectacular views uniting woods, water, and house. So the actual floor plan, come back to that in just a second. The floor plan is right here. This is one of your slides as well. This is the main house. Here's the river that runs right underneath it. This is called Bear Run. And then what this is also showing you as well is there's a second house, and this was like the guest wing. Okay. So basically for the floor plan, instead of placing the house across the creek to allow a view of the falls, he builds above it. This enables him to have the rooms face south for most of the sun. Putting the house on the cliff gives a fantastic opportunity to integrate the house with the landscape site. So again, you can clearly see the use of the windows from corner to corner, and he actually does something really special with the windows in the corner. He actually makes it seamless, and so if you're standing right here and you're looking in this corner, you'd actually see a window in the corner, and then you would see on this wall a continuation of the same window. So that was pretty significant about what he was um, designing. So not only is he an architect, but he also is responsible for the interior design inside of his houses that he designs and constructs. Um, so some influence. He was highly influenced after seeing a Japanese tea house at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. So that's what this picture is supposed to be referencing. He was struck by the way the structure harmonized with its natural surroundings as if it were a natural outgrowth of them. The open floor plans whose sliding doors and walls allowed flexibility in how the space was arranged, and the deep eaves that meant roof lines extended far out from the walls. So I think you can kind of see that as far as like being an open floor plan, and again the continuation of the windows harmonizing as it being part of its where this is located in nature. And then also asymmetry is important as well. So a couple of Wright's architectural principles. I would like for you to write these down, and I'll make them short and sweet for you, just of what you need to write down, but I'll kind of give you a little bit more. The first one I want you to put is that the space within a structure should flow, and the arrangement of interior should determine the shape a building takes. So I'll repeat that one more time. The space within a structure should flow, and the arrangement of the interior space should determine the shape of a building it takes. So, meaning this abandons the practice of beginning with an exterior form like a cube and then dividing up the space. So, it should be based off of the interior. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, a building should be in harmony with its natural environment. Okay, just write that part down. A building should be in harmony with its natural environment. So what this is trying to say is, so its materials should be in harmony, that uses local woods, stone, brick, and concrete painted to harmonize, as well as the lines of the building. In Fallingwater, the horizontals of the rock ledge below with bands of space between them are mirrored by the horizontal balconies, while the verticals of the tall straight trees are echoed by the vertical of the fireplace and chimney. And you can kind of see that going along with the verticals, the trees, and the horizontals of the rocks and on the ledges kind of being mirrored with the cantilevers. And we'll talk about those in just a minute. Okay. Actually, we're going to talk about it right now. The cantilever. So this is this part right here. Okay. This kind of overhang, this outside, allows extension outward. So for number three, you can just put the cantilever. And it's spelled Cantilever. And again, this allows the extension outward, enhancing the flow of space within as well as the flow of space and uh, forms out to join the surroundings. So, meaning when a beam is extended a substantial distance beyond a supporting column or wall, the overhanging portion is called a cantilever. The use of steel beams, the girders, make this possible. Okay, so again, it's just like this extension. This would be kind of like their patio outside, being able to overlook, again, get a better view and on the nature on the outside. So that's number three, the cantilever. And number four, he uses steel and concrete. That's what you can put down. And basically, usually used for commercial buildings and houses, but covered those materials to keep the natural appearance. For the interiors, again, just kind of looking back, because I know you have this image as well, so you can put something for the interiors. The windows, even at corners, give obstructed views. Wright designed all of the interior as well, including the furniture, the floor, and the lighting. So when we're talking about interior design, he would be the one that would be responsible for the layout of the actual space inside, where the furniture was going, and he even made the furniture, so he was also furniture designer, interior designer, and then considering the materials being used. And we'll talk about the floor in just a second. So the stone floor is polished to resemble the shimmering creek bed. The walls of windows flood the interior with natural light and offer continuous views of the natural surroundings. So you get that sense of that continuous band, just kind of similar to how we saw in Le Corbusier's um, Villa Savoy. So that pretty much wraps us up for Fallingwater. I wanted to just real quick show you, if any of y'all are looking at colleges in the future, there is a college. It's actually about an hour and a half away. It's down south. It's right before you get into Tampa. It's in a city called Lakeland. And this is just some of the campus. It's called Florida Southern. I just remember when I was in school, in high school, and I was looking at colleges, this was one that I kind of was, keeping in mind. But it's actually all designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. So it's a pretty amazing campus. It's on a lake, if you can kind of see in the background, and this is just one of the chapels that's on the main campus. So just wanted to show you some of the local architecture you could see of Frank Lloyd Wright. Okay, all right. This is Miss Howard signing out.